So before I start on what I was going to start on today, I just wanted to show you these interesting plugs that I've got. Scavenged from various old equipment that I've inherited and taken the plugs off of. I've only got 6 of them, but I've got some nice classics here. I've got an Ashley 3-pin, obviously no shielding on the pins. I've got an MK with shielding, actually. That one's probably a little bit newer. This one's interesting though. You've got this little light inside and a switch, which is rather cool. And that one is a WG plug, made in England, as most of these things used to be. And then we got another MK, quite a classic one, and this generic one, which is definitely from the 1980s, judging by the style of it and the fact I remember seeing these being sold when I was younger. Anyway, that isn't what we're here for. What we are here for is this. That is the Amstrad ALT386 power supply, and we are going to be gifting it some bits. Obviously not that, but here are some parts that we're going to be giving it. So basically I was doing some reading up on this particular power supply, which is a Rubicon power supply, and it is very likely that by this age all of the caps are going to be dry. So rather than fight a losing battle of trying to work out which caps are broken and failing and which ones are fine, I'm just going to replace the lot. So there is a website, which I'll link in the description, which actually gives you all of the values for each of these capacitors, plus how many you need of each individual type. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've purchased a load of suitable capacitors. I've gone for a mixture of Panasonic and the Rubicon. I mean, if the Rubicons can last nearly 35 years, then they must be doing something okay. Plus it also means that I'm replacing like for like in certain cases. Some of the other ones I had to go for Panasonics, but I've mostly been able to go for Rubicons in this instance. It's also quite interesting to see the size difference. So this one is a 400 volt 100 microfarad capacitor at 105 degrees Celsius, so that's obviously its maximum safe operating temperature. The replacement, or rather the replacement, once I get into the bag that it's in, the replacement is actually that size. And that one is a Nichicon, which I think is another good or reasonable make. So that is, oh hang on a minute, yeah, 400 volts, 100 microfarads. So we have got a like for like replacement, which is good. Right, the iron is warming up, so I think probably the first thing to do is to actually replace the one which I was missing from last week, which is, what was that one? It was one that I didn't have. It was a, I think it was either 33 microfarads at 35 volts, or one of the other ones. It was certainly one I didn't have. 47, that was it, 47 microfarads at 50 volts. So I'm pretty certain I have a replacement for that. Yeah, 50 volts, 47 microfarads. So we may as well get that one sorted out first. So that is actually this one here. I'm hoping, yeah, it looks like I'll have to do a little bit of work underneath just to clean up these contact pads. So that'll probably be the first thing I'll do. I'll suck off a load of solder, get those cleaned up, and then start with sorting it out properly. So I'll give these a little clean up. Just so we've got something clean to solder back onto. It's got that little resistor there as well, which is a little bit, contact pad for that was a bit grubby. Quite a bit of muck around it. This is where a toothbrush would come in handy, but I don't know where my toothbrush, which I use for these sort of things, is gone, so I'll just have to make do with what we have. Yes, I am still looking for the toothbrush. And yeah, we'll leave it. Let's see if that capacitor goes in there though. So positive onto there. Negative out behind. There we go. There we go, so that looks okay. Alright, let's get this sorted out. So, a little bit of blob on the resistor. There we go. Perfect. Right, rather than bore you with all the soldering, I'm going to go ahead, get all of this sorted out, and you'll rejoin me when I refit it to the laptop. So it's taken me a while, but this is back together now. I've got the supply plugged in. Well, actually, sorry, the supply is back in the machine. Just need to fix a couple of things. Just seem to have bent a bracket here on the bottom. So I just need to tease this back into place, which is relatively simple yet annoying at the same time, which is interesting. There we go. That is almost there. I think that's it. Right. So let's get this plugged in here. Okay, here we go. First time since doing the power supply. And that's a shame. Still dead, unfortunately. So the power supply was at fault, so it wasn't a wasted job repairing the power supply. But it looks like we've got problems elsewhere inside the unit. I checked the motherboard and I got rid of the CMOS battery, which is this little pack here, and it hadn't actually done a huge amount, if any, corrosion. So I was hoping this would literally just come straight up, but that doesn't seem to be the case, I'm afraid. Let's try it again. See if this reset button works. Yeah, so that is doing something. Right, before we condemn it as being something more than just the power supply, let's take the lid off and check the basics. So, have I connected all of the connectors to the power supply? So we've got that one there, that one is plugged back in. That one down there is plugged in, so all of them are connected. Let's check everything is plugged in here. It is quite possible that it may have shifted at some point, but yeah, that looks like it's all plugged in. I'll just take this off and be careful inside the supply. Just check that there is nothing else in there that there's nothing else in there that I've missed. Say these two fuses, which look okay. That connector at the back is fine, it's plugged in. Earthing straps are in place. Connectors on the motherboard, they're all plugged in. Yes. I'm not actually sure where we go with this one. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about these to really go much further. Did I get this one the wrong way around? So pin number 1, let's see what pin number 1 is on this one. So pin number 1 is orange. Pin number 1 here is also orange, so I'm pretty certain that is actually correct. goes to the monitor actually, so that's for the display. So the display is coming up. Yeah, hard drive's coming up. Everything is coming up except the motherboard. Oh dear. Well, you have to try these things to realise that maybe they're not going to work. So we've definitely tried. Try that one more time. Yeah, we've definitely tried. I mean, the monitor's coming up, but nothing else. Okay, let's take that out. Let's take this off. Let's actually take a look at that motherboard and see if there is damage that I haven't noticed. I mean, that is definitely possible, and I wouldn't rule it out. Right, so this is a floppy drive. There we go, that's out of the way. And then you've got this, which covers the motherboard itself. This is where the battery actually was. Now let's take a look at this. Yeah, I have this horrible feeling it's eaten into those tracks. That is a shame. If I'd caught that earlier, I wouldn't be in this position. It would just be the power supply. But it looks like it has actually gone into those tracks. I actually wonder if the CPU's getting warm. Let's just plug this in again. It's interesting. It's almost like these are not receiving power. Because normally you would expect some heat from these chips here, especially this one here, which is the CPU. Leave it on for a little bit longer. Chips on the graphics board are getting warm, so that's receiving power. But I'm just not sure about the motherboard. It's obviously powering the hard drive, so removing that actually takes down the hard disk. Probably shouldn't do this with it plugged in, but hey. I have got this awful feeling that those destroyed tracks are the issue. Now the thing is it destroyed tracks, or is it just some of the varnishy sort of stuff has come off the top? I mean, looking at it, I can't get this straight. Looking at it, it does look like those have been destroyed, and they've been destroyed by that battery. Yeah, the processor is getting warm, so but obviously there is no way for it to communicate, because those lines, looking at the processor, and I think these are bridge chips, they are directly in line. And they go to the floppy drive, and oh dear, oh dear. That is a real shame. That is a real shame. Okay, that is a shame. Anyway, if you have liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you've got any suggestions about how I could possibly go about and get this repaired, or if anybody's got a spare known good ALT386 that they want to get rid of, please let me know. I've had this laptop for many years now, and I don't really want to part with it, but I mean, what use is, well, it's not really very much use as it is. It's that old, but it was a nice thing to have. That is a real shame. A real shame. Anyway, as I say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.